Sunday night football, New York Football Giants and the Washington Commanders, 4.5 in favor of the Commanders at home against the Giants. 40.5 is your total. Ron Rivera said there is a very good chance that Chase Young makes his season debut in this game. He is trending, quote, trending in the right direction. Adam, I'll start with you. I do want to start here with you since you are a Giants fan. You know, I was beating the drum for the Giants early on in the year. I was waving the flag. Then tragedy struck, injuries, just every single level. I mean, that's the thing. It's like there wasn't a single level of this offense or defense that hasn't been struck by some sort of injury throughout the course of the season. And it's finally just paying its toll as we move down towards the end of the season here. I think it's probably an appropriate line to have the Commanders favored by this much over this team at this point in the season. I can't even believe that I'm saying that because you guys know how I feel about this Washington Commander squad, but it is a legitimate defense. That is something that we can't, that we cannot deny. It is a defense that has allowed the 4th fewest yards per game in the NFL. It's allowed the 10th fewest points per game in the NFL. So Taylor Heinicke's not asked to do a ton on the offensive side. The Giants just have no weapons. They have they have nothing on the defensive side anymore. So, hats off to Dayball for keeping this team together through the course of all of this. But I think this might be the straw that finally kind of breaks everything here. What say you?
So this number has made its way out to 5 in some spots on Washington. If we believe the way that Sunday night island games tend to trend, the favorite is going to continue to take money. At 6, it's the Giants for sure for me. At 5, it still might be the Giants for me. I make this game Washington 2, and I will admit, in my power ratings, I have never, ever been lower than the market on a team like Washington as far down as I am. I said that in sort of a ham-handed way. I am 10 spots below the Pro Football Focus rankings on the Washington Commanders. We talked a lot about Zach Wilson with a lot of ho-ho, ha-ha. Same turnover-worthy play percentage as Taylor Heinicke. So Taylor Heinicke has ridden the variance for a while here to be at least competent for this Washington team. It wouldn't take a whole lot for a couple of those passes that have been finding their way through defenders' hands to stick in defenders' hands and turn this thing back around. I'm not going to coach my bet that far to just say, okay, well, definitely take the Giants in that spot. They played to a tie last time out. Washington's coming off the bye. Everything to me points Giants, and I think it's points Giants at buying at that low point you just mentioned. Matt, you talk about buying the Giants at the absolute lowest point of the season that you possibly can, coming off getting wrecked by the Philadelphia Eagles. But the Washington Commanders, I don't think, are the team that is going to be able to exploit the Giants quite the same way. So I think the right side is Giants with the points at 6. It would definitely be a play. It might still be at 5.
Yeah, Steven, I think the other thing for me might just be a look at the total. I understand 40.5 is really low, but really good defense there in Washington. Not a lot of firepower on either one of these offenses. This also could be one of those slog games, in my opinion, right? I think this could be one of those super ugly games or whatever. So maybe that ends up being how I played this on Sunday night.
I think there's a couple schools of thought here, right? First of all, very odd situation on the schedule. The Commanders are playing the same opponent 2 games in a row. It's only the 3rd time that's happened since the 1970 merger. And they get a bye week in between. So if the Commanders were less than a field goal favorite a couple of weeks ago, is this the proper move? Is it too much to go flip home field, have a bye week in between? So first of all, Matt, with your experience, that's my first question. Have we given too many points the other way at this point, or is this appropriate given the bye week and the flip and home field advantage?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, but we do got to work in that there's a bye and, all the different things like that. So, I mean, that's got to be worked in as well.
Yeah. So I was kind of thinking about it in those terms early in the week and saying, hey, maybe the Commanders are actually short here. But then I start thinking, when do I ever want to back Taylor Heinicke to beat a team by a touchdown? I don't, regardless of spot and situation. So I've kind of come back the other way now and am more on Adam's side at this point, because if they were 2-point favorites just 2 weeks ago in this team and couldn't beat them, they didn't win. They tied, they didn't win. So they didn't cover. What's changed significantly since then, other than the Giants once again showing they just can't compete with the top teams in the NFL? This is almost the same situation to me to back the Giants the first time they played the Commanders. They were coming off a high-profile game against the Cowboys where they got their doors kicked in, which is what we all thought was going to happen. Now they're coming off a high-profile game against the Eagles in which they got their doors kicked in, which is what we all thought was going to happen. And they're playing a Commanders team that doesn't blow anybody out. So I think I'm Giants or pass at this point. And at this point, I think we just wait for the best of the number, because I think it is probably one-way traffic on the Commanders. It's certainly been one-way traffic to this point. This was 3.5 at the start of the week.